Siberian wolf has become a member.
The year is 1991. Birds and people are living together in seemingly perfect harmony, until one day a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix.
The gold rush just moments away.
You burst in a fire, burn a thirst and desire. You transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes. Phoenix, you burst in a fire, burn a thirst and desire. You transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investor. It's great to have you here once again. How is everybody doing? Fantastic to have you here on the big show, the best channel on YouTube TV. It's great to have everybody with me once again. It is a special here this afternoon. We are talking cannabis and the gold rush. What do you do with the gold rush? Are you in? Are you out? We have a live poll. We have you to vote on that. We also have 3 stocks to compare. Which is the best stock, the best cannabis stock to buy? We're going to give you those charts and information. Plus, we've also got the latest news on why all this is happening. What is going on? Well, let's get ready. We got a good idea. Well, it has 2 things to do. The first thing, it has a lot to do with this. Does anyone know what this is? Not everyone in America probably recognizes that that flag right there. But of course, we're talking. There's lots of cannabis stocks, but we are talking Cronos SNDL, Tilray brands, Aurora. These are the main ones that we want to talk about. But Kamala Harris, the US government, relaxing potentially on legislation around the corner. It has started a bit of a gold rush, but what kicked it all off was Germany. That's the flag of Germany. That's what kicked it all off. Anyway, very, very exciting stuff. The studio is very green. I'm wearing a gold jacket because, hey, you're making money today. Now, just full disclosure, I'm not making anything at all. I'm glad that you are, but I'm not. And that's not a problem. That's out of choice because I want to be the most honest TV channel on YouTube TV, not pumping, not dumping the stock. I only own the S&P. This is my full balance. As you can see here, this is all the money I have in the world, $75,000. And if we scroll down, you will see there's nothing else other than the S&P 500. Jonathan, thank you for your subscription. You will see there is 99.98. It's 100%. It's just I've won a couple of shares on Apple, or at least I've won a couple of dollars worth of Apple. You can see on my Roth IRA, if you look there, it shows the S&P is 100% of my account. Okay, so full disclosure, I don't stand to benefit from this video today, pumping the stock or anything like it. This is my balance. I'm here for my members. We are in members only mode. We're always in nearly always in members only mode, because we're not about being the biggest, but we want to be the best YouTube channel in the world to serve our members. So what have we got coming up today? It's a special cannabis stock with lots of information coming up. So if you've not yet subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. And if you've never followed my channel before, know that everything here is real, done live, 100% live. This studio is live. There's no green screens. This happens live. All the cameras are moving. I'm here on my own doing the whole thing. So let's get straight into a special today. It is a cannabis special. Now, hopefully at the end of this video, you're going to know which cannabis stock to buy, if at all, and what everybody else feels. And then maybe you can make some money on the gold rush. And it is a gold rush right now. When will it end? How will it end? Well, only history and time will tell. But right now, we are very excited to see all of this. We're looking at the charts and we're seeing a big swing in favor of cannabis. Now, this essentially is the new stock. People often ask me, they say, what is the next big thing? What are we looking out for? Well, we've had AI, we've had EVs, we've had space. Well, this is it. This is it. This is the moment when it's potentially starts just ahead of the curve, slightly ahead of the curve. So let's have a quick look and see what we're talking about here this afternoon. We've got lots to cover, and I will reply. This will go out. This is live, but this will go out as its own video later on. and I will reply to every member's comments, okay? I only reply to the members because I get thousands of messages and I reply to all of the members. Okay, we're looking at Tilray this afternoon. We're looking at SNDL. We're looking at Cronos, and we are looking at Aurora. Quite a few things here. 4 stocks, all up massive today. Tilray up 16.78. SNDL up 21.32. Cronos is up 7.92, and Aurora is up 38% today. What stock should you buy, if any at all? Well, let's start with a poll. So I'm going to go straight over now to my X account. Are you in the stock? Are you in the cannabis sector? Are you in? And you've got, whether you're in Tilray, Cronos, SNDL, ACB, doesn't matter. I want to know, are you in? Because this will trend on my X account. People will be talking about it. And we already rank for Cronos and Tilray #1 on Google and on YouTube at least. So a lot of people will see this. So let's start off by posting you the link for the poll. We'll come back to the poll throughout this special cannabis presentation. There is the link in the chat. I'll post it 3 times so it pops up. Go and vote. Are you in? It's yes, no, or undecided. No one is undecided. They're either in or they're out, and 84% of you are in. Let me jump into my Rumble audience. There's my Rumble audience, and give them the same poll. There you go. There's my Rumble audience, and I'm also going to give it to my Facebook and my Twitchers. There it is as well. The Gold Rush. Okay. Right. There you go. Now then. At the moment, this event is posted everywhere, and you can take part in polls everywhere if you really want to get behind and see cannabis rise today. And it really can, because, as I said before, we've got a wide reach now on this channel. We're gaining 1,000 subscribers a week, and it's still gaining speed. So, which is very, very nice. So I'm going to give you now a few places you can go. First of all, we've got StockTwits. If you want to make sure that you are voting on StockTwits. I've given you the X account. Here is the all links, the website. I'm also going to give you Rumble. We're live on Rumble as well. Here it is. There's the extra channel where we'll continue after the show. You can join the debate afterwards. We are live 12 hours a day, more than any other YouTube channel on planet Earth. There you go. So there are all the links so you can take part. As you can see, it's a live poll and people are voting in real time on it. Right. Now, not only are we going to look at the stocks, we're also going to look at this. I've never done this before, but we are doing this today. Look, we've got the Tilray intrinsic value. We've got Sundial intrinsic value, SNDL, and we've got Cronos. The 3 here we're going to compare. Look at the balance sheets, the profit, the loss, the insolvency score, the solvency score, both inside trading. So if you have decided that you're going to be in cannabis at the end of this debate, then you can decide which one you should buy, if any at all. So there we go. Welcome to our special. I hope everyone's buckled up and is ready to rock and roll. So do subscribe, ring the bell. And one final thing we shall do on Friday night, not tonight, tomorrow, but Friday night. We shall be live in my music channel, and we will have a cannabis special. There it is in the channel. The link is in the channel. I'll give you the music channel where we are. Here is the music channel, and every Friday night we have a live concert. This Friday night, this event here will be a special cannabis rock and roll special. I promise to make sure I'm drinking beer. I won't be smoking any marijuana live on the show. I don't smoke anyway. I think I'd fall off my piano stool if I tried, but there you go. So first of all then, let's decide whether we should be in the stock or not. You can see I've just turned red there just to spoil the party a little bit. Let me put that on the 1 year. We want to see green today. There we go. Right, let's first of all decide whether you should be in the stock or not. Okay, here we go. Now, I will put all your comments on the screen. We are members only. If you want to do a super chat, it will read your comments out. So if you want your comments as part of this cannabis special, it will read it out. Oh, thank you, Salty Biscuit. I'm a gummy girl, too radiant. I take one at bedtime and off I go. Ha ha, John. I don't buy cannabis stocks purely on principle. I am against drugs. Raman doesn't like it at all. Is he going to play Bob Marley and Snoop Dogg? Well, you never know your luck, right? Wearing the gold jacket because we're doing money today. Do you have a drink? Says Mike. Jamming with Martin on Friday. Alcohol is a drug. Of course it is. Coffee is a drug. Absolutely. A mushroom you pull out of the ground is a drug. So there you go. Where does it all end? Okay. Are you ready? All right. So first of all, should you even be in this stock? Well, what it's all about right now is the success of this now will be the safe banking and changing the classification of cannabis. At the moment, it's up there with heroin and all the rest of it, and that's the big problem. We've got to change the scheduling, okay? If we can change the scheduling, not only will it be a completely different class, so you can't be prosecuted for it and all the rest of it, but investors can get in and institutions can start buying in, the whole thing. At the moment, it's a much more difficult, and sponsorship and advertisement, as you can imagine. So is that going to happen? Are we going to get full legislation? Well, we believe so. When? Well, let's talk about it now. And why is the stock up so much? And should you be in it at all anyway? Right. Well, let's have a look. Here we go. Some recent news just out. I'm going to cover it all now for you. This is a cannabis special this afternoon. Is Aurora Cannabis set to take off after soaring 39% in the past month? Some key points we're going to pull up here. Germany recently passed marijuana reform. Now, we need to be clear. We've always known that this was likely to happen. This isn't a surprise. We've always known. Why has the stock been down then? We've seen the stock up and down across all of the main cannabis sector. It was because of the delay in the United States to get this passed, and doubt whether it would ever get passed. But of course, we are now coming up to an election, and a lot of people would like to see this. It's a vote winner. It's definitely a vote winner. Now, we have to remember the government don't care about you as an investor, but they do care about your vote. And there's a very good chance if this starts to pick up around the United States, someone's going to pick up on it and get it pushed through. So first of all, Germany recently passed a marijuana reform, which will make it easier for patients to obtain cannabis. Aurora is a key player in the German market, as is Tilray, and we'll come on to all that in a moment, and should benefit from these latest developments. Many of these companies are already placed in the same place. In a minute, I'm going to give you the chance to decide which is the best one to buy, if you decide to buy it after all, and should benefit from the latest developments. The company's financials have been improving in recent years, but the business has only been generating modest growth of late, as have all of the main cannabis stocks. This is no surprise at all. Okay, there's the first headlines. We got another one here. Aurora leads gains on Canadian cannabis stocks after pot trade group beefs up ranks with industry exec. Let's have a look. Drawing praise from Aurora SVP. Let's have a little look here. And what have we got? Aurora Cannabis led gains among Canadian cannabis stocks on Wednesday after the industry executive was named president of the Cannabis Council of Canada Trade Group. Paul McCartney. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Paul McCartney. When I find myself in time to trouble, Mother Mary comes. Sorry, I can't help it. Paul McCarthy, who was formerly head of corporate policy and international implementation at Canopy Growth, was named president of the Cannabis Council on Tuesday. A lot of things that were scheduled to come out, and pardon the pun about scheduling, are now being pushed through and they're grabbing the media attention. Cannabis stocks light up as Florida adds weed to November ballots. Look at this. Cannabis stocks light up as Florida adds weed to November ballots. Now, that's what I'm talking about, the election around the corner. Cannabis stocks are climb on the Florida approval. Cannabis stocks are up today on news from Florida. The state Supreme Court is allowing a marijuana amendment on the November ballot. This would let residents partake in recreational marijuana consumption. As you can see, it's starting to pick up now. Things are starting to happen. Now, once they start, of course, it's going to roll down a hill very, very quickly, or roll up a hill, down a hill. I don't know which is a good way of putting it. But all of this is about to happen very, very quickly. And I am going to give you in a few moments my price prediction of where I see some of these stocks going, as we also look at the best ones as well. Okay, if you just tuned in, it's a cannabis special here this afternoon. Cannabis stocks are on the move Tuesday after the Florida Supreme Court approved the ability to add recreational marijuana use to the state's November ballot. This measure will have residents of Florida voting for and against a new amendment that would allow the use of the drug. The court voted 5-2 in favor of allowing the amendment to be on the ballot. Here's what Justice Jamie Grisham said about the decision in a statement collected by CBS News. Not Martyn Lucas Investor, that would be far more important. But never mind, it was on CBS. That'll do for now. Our role is narrow. We assess only whether the amendment conforms to constitutionally mandated single subject requirement, whether the ballot summary meets the state statutory standard for clarity, and whether the amendment is facially invalid under the federal constitution. In light of those limited considerations, we approve the proposed amendment for placement on the ballot. Very good. Cannabis stocks up today. We're looking at all these right now. We're going to cover the numbers in a moment. Tilray stock is rising 2.7 higher as of noon Tuesday. Canopy Growth is up 15.8. SNDL is up 6.8. Aurora is up rocketing 23% higher on than Tuesday. Investors will find even more information, blah, 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 blah. Okay. That'll do for a moment. And we've got one final bit. Before I bring out that final bit of news, let's get all the comments on the screen. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Have we got any comments that we can put on the screen here? I can't share all of these comments. We can imagine we're getting little bits of colourful language in the chat. But anyway, I can't find anything at the moment. I can't see anything that I can put on the screen. Everyone's having a bit of a backwards and forwards conversation. Right. Okay. Last bit of news. Here we go. And then we're going to come on to the money side of things. And we're going to see if we can make some money from our green studio today. Welcome to the Cannabis Studio. Used to call this the Virgin Galactic Studio. It is from time to time. Don't forget that. All right, let's move on down now. So now we've got some more news I want to share with you on the screen right now. Let's get into it. Here we go. And then we're going to cover the numbers. We got some nice comments about to appear on the screen. I'm very excited about it. Okay, there we go. Look at this. Various themes and sectors garnered buzz and attention as the first quarter drew to a close. However, one industry that has been in lull of a significant period reignited the imagination and hope of. Oh, here it comes.
Martyn is on it. Congratulations, Tilray investors.
There you go. If you do a super chat, it will put it on the screen, read it out, share it with the world, and it will live forever. This will be an evergreen video, no pun intended, and I would expect this video to be a viral video by tomorrow. I'm pretty 100% about that. Yeah, I'm 100%. Over the previous month, several cannabis stocks have surged dramatically, igniting the sector as gains reach high double to even triple digits in some cases. Cannabis companies like Canopy Growth, Nasdaq, Tilray, and Aurora Cannabis have experienced notable upticks in volume and price, leaving investors at a potential crossroads. Is it time to exercise some caution and take risk after the swift and extreme move higher, or should one dive straight into the green gold rush? Let's examine each of the stocks mentioned above more closely and understand what drove their recent gains. And I am going to cover all of the major numbers in a minute as well. All right, the catalyst behind the breakout. So what catalyst was behind the extreme move in the sector that seemingly awoke several cannabis stocks from their lengthy lull period? Well, there were two separate catalysts, both carrying significant momentum. First, Vice President Kamala Harris reportedly advocated for the legalization of marijuana during a closed-door meeting at the White House in mid-March. She also called for the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, to reschedule marijuana, citing its current classification as a Schedule I drug as absurd since joining the Biden ticket. These comments marked the first time that Harris signaled support for federal legalization, potentially influencing the administration's stance ahead of the presidential election. They're not going to let this pass. It is a vote winner. And I'm going to give you my price predictions in a couple of moments. Then, and arguably the most significant catalyst, was when Germany passed a law to fully legalize marijuana effective April 1st, allowing possession, home growing, and distribution among social clubs. This news could benefit investors in cannabis stocks like Tilray, Cronos, Canopy Growth, particularly when Germany moves towards the laws to standardize commercial production and retail sales of cannabis. Okay, are you ready? We're about to go into the numbers. Have you tapped the like button yet? Have you subscribed and rung the bell? We're going to tell you in a minute which is the best one to buy. Oh yes, no joke, all right? And that you will be smiling all the way to the bank, hopefully making lots of money, and will be very, very pleased when you do stack up your money. So, are you ready? Okay, with further ado, let's cut the three main points, and then we're going to come straight over to the to which one you should choose, whether any at all. First of all, Tilray. Tilray, a pharmaceutical and cannabis company established in 2013, is based in Canada and operates globally in regions like the United States, Europe, Canada, Australia, and Latin America. They specialize in the production and distribution of medical and recreational cannabis products. Tilray staged an impressive turnaround in the previous month, with the stock up almost 43%. Interestingly, insiders have purchased stock for the first time in recent years, with insiders buying $183,210 of the stock in the first quarter of the year, based on 3 analyst ratings. I will show you the insider trading in a few moments' time. Very, very good indeed. All right. Tilray has a hold rating. Analyst consensus price target of 283 is forecasting a potential upside of close to 15% for the cannabis company. Don't forget, if you want to be in this event, this is going to be a viral video, part of a very special Tilray a cannabis special. Do a super chat. It'll be here forever. This is the day I'm announcing the beginning of the gold rush. You might want to have your name on the screen in the chat. This is your chance to do it. Okay, what about Canopy Growth? And we're going to give you these stocks in a moment. Canopy Growth specializes in cultivating and distributing a wide range of cannabis products, serving both medical and recreational users. From dried cannabis to oil, soft gels, capsules, and edibles. Canopy Growth offers diverse options to meet customer needs. Canopy's recent stock performance has been remarkable, with the stock soaring. Oh, hello, here it comes.
Tilray earnings, please, Martyn.
Tilray earnings has been booked by one of our members. Tilray earnings is going to happen now. If one of my members gives me a super chat, Tilray earnings will happen. All right, let's carry on. I'll put that down at the end of the show. Thank you very much indeed. Canopy's recent stock performance has been remarkable, with the stock soaring 162% last month. Its volume has also surged to incredible heights, with the stock trading close to 200 million shares over the previous 4 trading sessions. However, analysts are bearish on the stock, with a reduced rating and consensus price target predicting close to 44% downside. What about Aurora? Aurora and its subsidiaries produce, distribute, and sell cannabis and cannabis-derived products globally. They operate in three segments: Canadian cannabis, European cannabis, and plant propagation. Like the above two names, Aurora's garnered substantial attention over the previous month. Stocks surged by almost 40% during the last month. With its volume rocketing higher, sentiment appears overwhelmingly bearish on the name, with a significant short interest of 24.5, representing 3.8 million shares as of March 15th. Okay, the gold rush. I think that's it for those main stocks. Now, it's the most important part. Now we look at the numbers. So, are you ready? Have you tapped the like button? Have you subscribed? Are you in so far? Are you going to leave me a comment later on, which I can reply to? Members only. We are a members only channel because we're here to provide the most honest, real, live information in the world. That's my aim, to be the best YouTube channel and Rumble channel in the world. That's it. That's why we're members only. We're not about numbers. We're about quality, and quality will make us the best channel in the world. Right. Without further ado, let's have a look at the numbers. Does all this stack up? So by now, you've decided whether you like the cannabis sector, whether you want to be in it or not. You know the news, you know the options, you know what's going on. Now then, let's go back just before we show you the numbers, which one to choose. We're going to show you the latest updated poll right now. It's running on X. If you've not yet voted and you're watching this video later when it comes out as a premiere, I will put the link above and below in the description. But for those watching live right now, there is the link for you to vote. We have 19 votes so far at the making of this video, and 73% are in buying. No one, not one single person is undecided. It's a total yes or no so far. It's like you either love it or you're against cannabis and drugs, period, and you think the whole thing is wrong, you wouldn't touch it, and that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But 73.7% are saying, yes, I am in, and the poll is at 19 votes right now. I expect it to be over 100 by the time this video comes out, which will be in a couple of hours from now. All right, so without further ado, let's look at the numbers. Have you tapped the like button? Let me see how many people are watching me during this live event. Let's see what's going on. Oh, we've got a good audience. Can everyone tap the like button so you can share it out? If you tap the like button, we want to share this out to more people. With just under 100 people watching now, with just 24 likes. So you're very lazy this afternoon. Tap the like button once we hit 100. This is going to be the best cannabis review video ever this year. It's all being done, everything in one video for you, with the best sound, the best presentation, the best facts, honest, unsponsored, completely done live, unedited, as it is real. So please do tap the like button. We got 24 likes. If we get to 100, we will start to get suggested on YouTube, and it will get seen by more people. I'll leave that up to you to do. Right, but without further ado, what we're going to do now is look at the numbers. So by now, you decided whether you like it or not, which one to buy. Right, here are my top picks. My top picks are Tilray, SNDL, and Cronos. These are my three. So, Cronos is overvalued by 78%. It's overvalued by 78%. Too expensive. What about SNDL? SNDL is undervalued by 11%. These are on the base cases. Tilray is overvalued by 18%. 18%. Okay? So far, we are giving it to SNDL. That is undervalued at the moment when you compare to the, when you look at the intrinsic value. All right, moving on down now. We're going to move down. We're not going to go through the last earnings. No point doing that. The revenue of Tilray, 700 million on its most recent range, up 8%. If we now go over to SNDL and we scroll down, 909 million, down very slightly, 2%. So we can look at its curve. We can look at its curve and compare that to Tilray, about the same. Slightly more money has been made there. Revenue is slightly higher with SNDL. Now scroll down now and we'll look at CRON, 87 million, much smaller, up 0.4, but perhaps a steeper, maybe a slight increase on the curve. So far, you can see we gave it the best rating so far was let me just come back, was SNDL. I'm doing this live, guys, on my own, so and I'm running everything, so bear with me. I've never done 3 stocks at the same time, but there you go. Always challenge yourself. So far SNDL. So I'm going to put SNDL to the top of the list for the moment. But looking at the revenue, it wins on revenue too. Yes, far greater revenue. So SNDL still holding the top spot. SNDL is still holding the top spot. Okay, let's move on down now and look at the balance sheet of each company. The balance sheet, SNDL, which is in top spot at the moment, has 1.5 billion in assets and 261. So how much cash does it have out of its assets? It has cash in the range of 13% in cash. That's very nice indeed. 13%. Now we'll go to Tilray. How much of it is 4.3 billion? Much bigger balance sheet. But 4.3 billion, and in cash we have 6%. So even though we have a bigger market, we have a bigger balance sheet, more assets, we have slightly less percentage-wise of cash for Tilray. So far, even though the assets are greater, and whether you like the assets of all the breweries or not is up to you. For me, this is all about cannabis. If I want to buy breweries, I can buy DraftKings. I can go anywhere else. I can buy Coca-Cola if I want drinks. I'm focusing on the best cannabis right now. So they hold about 6% of cash. Let's go to Cronos, and if we look at their balance sheets, 1 billion, much smaller, and they hold their cash value is that is 75%. They've got a much bigger percentage of cash available as over their balance sheet. So they don't have as many assets anywhere near what Tilray does, but it has much greater percentage of cash. So at the moment, I'm going to leave it where we left it, which was SNDL in the lead, Tilray second, and Cronos in third. Let's look at the debt position. So we'll start with Cronos as we're on Cronos. Do we have any long-term debt? We don't have any long-term debt. We have a nice bit of cash and no long-term debt. So it's a smaller company, but every company will boom. Tilray will not be able, just because it's got the biggest assets, the biggest proportion of assets, it won't be able to serve the public if it explodes. Everybody will have an opportunity to make money on. Everybody will have an opportunity to grow here. They have no debt, so Cronos has no debt. That's very nice indeed. What about Tilray? Tilray, on the other hand, has long-term debt, and it has long-term debt of 36, I think that's million. 36%, which equates to 348 million. A lot more debt. They've been buying all these breweries. If we're focusing on the cannabis sector, period, not all the drinks, then that's a lot of debt to be carrying. Okay, we know all that. Not good at all. If we look at the leader at the moment, which is SNDL, if we go over to their liabilities, long-term debt 136 million, which is 52 now. 52% of their liabilities is in long-term debt. So SNDL have just come off the crown a little bit. So I think at this stage we've now got Tilray just starting to come up a little bit. But of course, don't forget Cronos, who don't have any debt at all. So now Cronos is coming up to Tilray and catching up. I think we'd still put SNDL as the leader, but the gap has narrowed over Tilray, and Cronos has caught up because of their debt position. We like that. All right, what about the stock itself? Well, before we come on to the stock sentiment, we've got Cronos 14% margins. Okay, that's their moat, 14% margins. Tilray has margins of 21%, much better margins, much better margins from 14% to 21%. Okay, that now puts Tilray a little bit ahead of the game again now. What about SNDL? That was our favorite, 24%. It beats Tilray and it beats Cronos. So going ahead now is SNDL again. So SNDL is now going ahead. SNDL is coming out as favorite at the moment. Right, what about the profitability score? Now, SNDL gives us a profitability score of 34%. If we look at Tilray, 29%. No surprise, I've just done the margins. And Cronos, I'd expect to be lower, 23%. There you go, exactly as anticipated. So again, we've got SNDL on top. What about the solvency? Remember, Tilray in second place, but catching up with Cronos, Cronos catching up. Tilray has a bit of debt, quite a bit of debt, as does Cronos. 63% though, is the solvency score for SNDL. Let's look at Tilray right now, 55%. So it's gone down as you'd expect. And Cronos, 81%. That's because of the cash they hold. So that now brings up Cronos up there with Tilray. So again, we've talked about this before, just because you have a bucket full of cash and no debt, as they do, it can be good for you, but you've got to turn that into profit though. But right now though, anyone's going to do well when legalization gets passed. So consequently, anyone's going to be able to make money. And if you've got no debt and your balance sheet is much stronger, you can grow quicker. If you're labored down with debt, that will slow you down. So SNDL is now in the lead, again, pushing further ahead. And SNDL and Tilray and Cronos is about equal now. So we got equal second. That's where I will put this. Right, as we are on Cronos, let's stay right there. Wall Street is giving it a 0% growth from here on the average, a 0%. We're not going to look at the others. We're going to focus on the average. We don't want to confuse anybody. On the average, a 0%. If we now go over to Tilray, we're giving it a 10% downside. 10% downside. Now we've got Cronos just slightly ahead of Tilray now. Slightly ahead of Tilray. So Tilray's just dropped into third place. Cronos is in second place now. And let's go on now to SNDL. SNDL has done it again. It's moved ahead now. 54% is the upside from SNDL. A clear winner so far with Tilray in second place. Cronos, SNDL is first. Second is Cronos, and in third place is Tilray. Can you believe I'm doing all this at once, right? This is years of being the director of One Night in Vegas, literally running everything in this studio, lights, sound, camera, screens, 16 screens now, talking to you, seeing all the comments, monitoring all the outputs, and doing all the calculations of 3 stocks at the same time. Are you impressed? You should be. You should be. Don't confuse that with arrogance. Make sure that you confuse it with passion and belief. There's a difference. People often say, oh, he's a bit arrogant, isn't he? No, it's a commitment and a belief in what I'm doing. There's a big difference. I don't expect anything from anyone. Never have. All right. Just thought I'd throw that bit of personal stuff in there. Right. SNDL. Remember, now it's far ahead. It's got a 4%. It's hardly got any short interest at all. People like it. 4%. That's good. Not much short interest. What about Tilray? Tilray. 15%. 15% short interest. Now remember, with volume, and we're going to get volume, you can end up having a short squeeze. So they're all going to get volume in time. Those that are over 20, 25% are going to get a short squeeze. But you don't have to have a short interest to grow, you know. It just brings the stock price down. So Tilray's got a big short interest. What about, lastly, Cronos? It has 2.83. So again, Cronos goes ahead, and we've definitely got a clear winner now, SNDL, and then we've got Cronos in second and Tilray in third. Okay, now then, we're not going to cover that. Finally, sentiment. Sentiment on the stock. This is Cronos. Sentiment over the last 7 days, we've got 83% all positive. Okay, what about Tilray? Tilray, if we scroll to the bottom and look at the sentiment. We've got 73% sentiment. That is good. That's nice. That brings Tilray up a little bit. What about oh dear me. What about SNDL? 85% positive. So there we go. Never been done before. There is a review of all three stocks at the same time, giving you the news, running a poll, giving you the funky music. There it is. There has been a cannabis special. My brain's now going, okay, now you need a cup of tea. Time to sit down with the biscuit. So that was a special cannabis presentation. We've now gone through the news where we see what's potentially about to happen, but now I'm going to give you the price targets and the warnings, and this is very, very important. If you've got to the end of the video, and I hope you have, this is the most important part of this video, and I'm going to present it to you now. So it's great. It's no doubt about it. We're going to get legislation. It's a matter of time. However, as good as all this news is, you've decided you like the cannabis sector, you decided SNDL was the better buy for you than Tilray and Cronos, but you think SNDL is the one. Whatever you buy, they're all going to do well in time. But as we know, Tilray is saddled with quite a bit of debt right now. That's the only downside to it. They're all going to do well. But a lot of people have lost a lot of money on these stocks. They've had quite a tumultuous run, and a lot of them are down heavily from where people first got in. There's going to be volatility, and the sort of people that buy these stocks, yes, good investors buy these stocks, but also gamblers, Mullen owners, and so on. It's going to be a crazy time. Like the original gold rush was a crazy time. You want to be the one that sells the hammers and the buckets and the spades. Like I believe I'm the guy who owns the casino. I don't play the casino. You want to be in charge of this and be aware of what is going to happen. There's going to be volatility. There's going to be short squeezes. There's going to be dumps. There's going to be people taking profit. If you're buying this, you want to be aware of that. You want to buy the company with the least, in my opinion, short position. That would be SNDL. You want to buy the one with the best balance sheet. That would be the one with SNDL. You want to buy the stock that has the least debt. That would be SNDL. Not diversified, really focused on cannabis. You can buy drinks machines and everything else from everybody else. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, whatever. That would be SNDL. And remember, I'm not sponsored by anyone. It makes no difference to me what you buy. But just be aware, there will be some volatility. No doubt about it. Let's go back to our poll and see what people are saying. Perhaps we should do a poll as well later as a follow-up and see which stock people prefer. See if they agree with my analysis. They should agree with my analysis. It's based upon facts, not drama on YouTube or, drama. Pretty dramatic, right? Studio's pretty dramatic, but it's not selling a narrative. It's just the facts, and no one's sponsoring and inflating the figures. I'm just giving you the facts. This is the poll right now. We've had more votes, which is great. I said it would be 100 by the time this video comes out tonight in a few hours. 23 votes. And 73.9% of you are, yes, I'm in, I'm buying, I'm in, already in, or I'm buying in, whatever. Only 4.3% now are undecided, which means, effectively, I've done a rubbish job. I've done my best to give you the best review you're ever going to see on YouTube TV. No one's going to do it like this. And what happens? 4% of you don't know what to do. So clearly I need to try harder, which I will. So in final thoughts, is this stock right for you? Are you buying it? Okay, let me end the video and let me just finish it like this. Click above my head.
The year is 1991.
Hang on a minute, it is
Birds
live.
and people are
It
living
is
together
live.
in seemingly perfect harmony. Until one day,
I pressed the wrong button. Yes, I did. How do I stop it now? How do I stop it? There you go. It's a live video. It happened live, right? I've got to do better than that. That was way too loud. You ready? Try again. I might even cut the video, but maybe I won't. I'll leave it in. Right, click above my head for all the links. If you want to use my alpha spread, all my members get a free version of this, and you get a lifetime discount if you want the premium version as well. Why wouldn't everyone have this? It's the best tool you need. Other than my channel, of course, our channel, the family, the most important thing, the 12-hour stream, you need that. Click above there. Down below in the description, you'll also find all the links, and the extra channel will appear here in a moment. Friday night, you want to join me for a special. We're doing a cannabis rock and roll special. Bit of Bob Marley, bit of Snoop Dogg. Friday night on my music channel. You won't want to miss that. But I will be covering the Tilray earnings. It's just been asked for in the chat. I will be covering the earnings. And if anybody else would like me to cover the earnings of their favorite stock, including all the cannabis stocks, become a member and super chat me, and I will get up early in the morning or work late in the evening to do your favorite stock. That's it from me. I hope you enjoyed this cannabis special this evening. Above my head, down below, over here and over here. This was a cannabis special. Are you in? Are you out? Are you making money? Welcome to the Green Studio. And that's it for me. And now we're going to play out with a bit of funky music. Until next time, as always, thank you ever so much. And as always, take care of your money, yourselves, your crypto. Most importantly, take care of each other. All right, there we go. That'll fade out. How about that? Was that good or what? Was that good? Everybody happy? That's right. Gold days are coming. Okay, now that was done for all my members who wanted a special, who wanted a Tilray and a cannabis special. I hope you enjoyed that presentation there. It was fun making it. It was a bit of a challenge, but I have to say, really, really enjoyed doing it. I'm just clearing the boards. And I was asked to do Tilray, so let me take note. This will go out as a video by itself later. Right, let me write this down. So earnings, TLRY. This is for MUFC Buddy. Thank you very much indeed. Let me put that down. Now let me see if I can do it first of all. You've asked for it, but doesn't mean to say I can do it. Let me check. Available April 9th. Available April 9th pre-market. Now that we do not have at this stage a link. So let me go on to the investor relations page. Tilray. Let me see if I can find it. There's Robinhood is not providing a link, which they should do, and they normally do. Investors. Events. Tilray, April 9th. Yes. Tilray, third quarter, 2004. April 9th, 8:30 in the morning, which will be 7:30 in the morning. April 9, Wednesday. Oh, that's next week. That's okay. April 9. Yes, I can do that. April 9. And that will be at 7:30 a.m. Central Time. So it will be literally opening bell time of the show when we normally start. All right, that's now booked in for MUFC Baddie. If anybody else wants me to do that, I can do the same for you. You just got to ask. Right. Let me clear the boards. We've got 3 minutes to go. I want to ring the bell. How many joined me this afternoon? A little bit quiet this afternoon. I thought it was going to have a much busier show than that. I think the video will do well later on, though. Well, I know it will do well. I'm just surprised it's so quiet. Okay. Let me just amend this. Oh, there we go. That's better. That's better. Right. Okay, it's 2 minutes ago. We're going to ring the bell, and I'm going to put this video out. Now then, we've just put out a couple of videos that you may have missed. So let me just give you that quickly. I'm going to refresh this, end the show, and then get this video out. You don't want to miss it, especially if you are an investor in this stock. So I've just put out a couple of videos you may have not seen. This afternoon, we had C3IS analysis. We had Gangfeng Lithium. You might be interested in that one. And also the worst stock in the history of the world, Alt Alliance. I'm not joking. It's got to be the worst stock ever. I can't even believe it exists. But it does, and nothing surprises me anymore. So there you go. If you've missed those, go and check those out on the homepage of the channel. Who was it who asked for Rallo 1? Rallo 1. Is Rallo 1 here? Rallo 1. Is Rallo 1 here? I've got a surprise for you. You're going to love this. I don't see him in the chat. So before we end the show, we just got to ring the bell. We're running out of time. Is Stacey Bailey and Kevin B here? Stacey Bailey, Kevin B, Wadey, Don Claddy or Jonathan Santos, Vincent Vosberg, Todd Fletcher. Are any of you in at the moment? If you are in, let me know. All right, I'd like to know if any of you are in the chat right now. Trichet, I'm really, really excited. Eric starting now. Have to mute Martin. What are you doing? Muting what? What are you muting? 3, 2, 1. The bell has now gone. What a day. Even though I'm showing green, it was because of our stock. Oh, we are green. We are green. That was nice. We've been red half the day. Well, nearly all the day, to be honest. We had a little bit in the middle, but yes, it's gone back up again. Good. So I am really, really excited. Eric B, starting now. Have to mute Martin. Hang on, what's going on here? Whose mission is that, Martin? Don't forget to switch to NASA feed after the bell. NASA feed? Trey K, what's going on? NASA live. What's this? The big announcement. Okay. I don't know if I can cover this. I don't think we have much of an audience for this. NASA will host a conference to announce at 4 p.m. Oh, it's starting now. Oh, no. It starts in an hour. Oh, hang on. No, it starts now. It starts now.
It will let us conduct science.
Okay, yeah, it's very difficult to cover this because we've got a lot of copyrighted music, I'm afraid. No, it's on now. Yeah, this is it. This is NASA.
Operate with
Yeah, they're playing copyrighted music.
science.
Yeah. If they were just talking, it'd be fine. But unfortunately, they're playing copyrighted music, and if I do it, I get my channel banned and all sorts.
New discovery.
If they were just talking, it would be absolutely fine. We'll give it a second, but as long as they're playing music, it just ruins it a little bit.
Lunar terrain vehicle.
Maybe we'll get something now.
Good afternoon and welcome to NASA's Johnson Space Center here in Houston, Texas. I'm Victoria Ugaldi. Today we have an exciting announcement to reveal the companies selected to move forward in developing the Lunar Terrain Vehicle, which will allow astronauts to explore more of the lunar surface during Artemis missions. We have some panelists here today who will be providing remarks and answering some questions regarding the new award. With us today, we have Vanessa Weich, Director of the Johnson Space Center, Jacob Bleacher, Chief Exploration Scientist at NASA headquarters in Washington, D.C., Laura Kearney, Manager of the Extravehicular Activity and Human Surface Mobility Program here at the Johnson Space Center. We also have representatives of the awarded companies to provide remarks and address questions, but I will give the honors to Vanessa for announcing the selected companies. We'll first start with some initial remarks from each of our briefers before opening it up for questions. We'll be taking questions on our phone bridge as well as from here in the room. If you're here in the room, just raise your hand and we will get a microphone over to you. For those on our phone bridge, please press *1 to enter into our queue. And with that, I will hand it over to Vanessa for opening remarks.
Thank you. Thank you, Victoria. Good afternoon. NASA's Johnson Space Center is proud to continue exploration via NASA's Artemis Moon to Mars program. As the home to mission operations, astronaut training, human spacecraft development, systems integration, and program management of our premier NASA programs, I am pleased to talk about the accomplishments that happen here every day. At the Johnson Space Center, we are very proud of managing the International Space Station, where we are operating and conducting science 365 days of the year, and it not only benefits Earth, but it also is helping us with our exploration goals. Through the Artemis program, we will witness our nation's return to the lunar surface, this time establishing a sustainable human presence on the moon in preparation for missions to Mars. Building on commercial collaboration that started in low Earth orbit, we're fostering a commercial space economy with private sector and international partners. In view of this, I am pleased to announce, after a very thorough and rigorous procurement process, NASA is selecting 3 awardees to provide lunar terrain vehicle services. The awardees are Intuitive Machines, represented by Steve Altemus, CEO and co-founder, Lunar Outposts, represented by Justin Cyrus, CEO and founder, and Venturi Astrolab, represented by Jarrett Matthews, CEO and founder. Congratulations.
Thank you.
This capability is being added to the other Artemis elements. The excitement here is tremendous as we are training our Artemis II crew for an upcoming test flight to the lunar vicinity next year. These will be the first humans to venture to deep space since 1972, at the close of the Apollo era. They will board an Orion spacecraft on top of a Space Launch System rocket and be launched from a mobile launch platform at Kennedy Space Center. Our astronauts, engineering, operations, and health and medical teams are working with other commercial and international partners on vehicle and systems that will support sustainable lunar missions. Johnson Space Center is proud to lead other critical elements of the Artemis architecture, including commercial lunar payload services that provides robotic exploration activities, Gateway, which is humanity's first space station around the moon, as well as our exploration-capable, commercially provided spacesuits. In support of future Artemis missions, Gateway will play a key role in helping NASA and its partners learn how to live sustainably on another body. The Orion spacecraft will dock with the Gateway, and our astronauts will perform crew-tended operations while preparing for surface operations via commercially developed human landing systems. As astronauts explore the South Pole region of the moon during our Artemis missions, they'll be able to go farther and conduct more science than ever before, thanks to the Lunar Terrain Vehicle. Think of a hybrid of the Apollo-style lunar rover that was driven by our astronauts and an uncrewed mobile science platform. This will give the crew the capability to travel a distance much further from their landing sites. In addition, during uncrewed operations, the LTV will provide autonomous operations for science and technology. NASA and the Johnson Space Center workforce will continue to work closely with Intuitive Machines, Lunar Outpost, and Astrolab as they build the LTV, providing insight throughout the development and ensuring that the system is safe for our astronauts. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Vanessa. I'll now hand it over to Jake.
Thank you, and thank you for having us, Vanessa. This truly is a exciting moment as we're looking to the moon and continue to take steps with Artemis to build a blueprint for exploring space. I would like to congratulate Astrolab, Intuitive Machines, and Lunar Outpost for bringing forward your innovative and creative solutions that will provide new opportunity for exploration of the moon. I'd also like to congratulate Laura and her team. I know they spent a lot of hard work, a lot of time and hard work to reach this point. Now, I would like to take a moment to ensure that we all recognize the importance of this announcement. If you'll indulge me for a moment, let's take a step back in our memory and try to remember a time when you were a child. Most likely, your world was as large as the range that you could move under your own power at that time. Now try to remember how it felt when you first gained the ability to move beyond the boundaries of that world. For me, that involved learning to ride a bike. Maybe for you, it was something different. Roller skates, roller blades, skateboard. Maybe it was a wheelchair, or maybe it was even access to public transit for the first time. Regardless of your technical solution, you could now reach places that were previously off limits to you. Enhanced mobility fundamentally changes one's world. It changes where you can go, it changes what you can do, quite simply, it changes what you can learn. Science is our toolbox for learning, and enhanced mobility is one of the most important tools in that science toolbox. Science itself is one of our fundamental reasons that we're going to the moon. Science will help us learn about the moon, about how we survive in space, and that will help us build that blueprint for exploring away from the Earth. The moon is a treasure chest of science that can unlock the secrets of our solar system and teach us more about our home planet for the benefit of all. The lunar samples returned from the Apollo program dramatically changed our view of the solar system, our place in its evolution. And scientists continue to this day to unlock new insights from those samples. The diversity of Apollo samples increased when the lunar roving vehicle enabled exploration of more surface area per mission. That diversity of lunar knowledge is what we seek now. Observations from previous robotic explorers in space and even an impact mission on the surface have proven that permanently shadowed regions on the moon, including some craters in the South Polar region, contain frozen water. Yet we are only scratching the surface of knowledge that the moon has to offer us. Future samples from Artemis missions will increase that diversity of our knowledge about the moon. The discovery of water on the moon holds promise for both science and human exploration. NASA wants to understand how much water exists below the surface and whether or not we can access it. Better understanding of the sources and concentrations of this water will help teach us how the moon formed and evolved, and may provide resources for our future explorers. Under Artemis, NASA is sending robots and astronauts to explore more of the moon than ever before, including the lunar South Pole, where no humans have ever been. Crews will use the LTV to explore. They will transport scientific equipment, and they will collect samples from the lunar surface from much farther than they could if they were on foot alone. This will enable us to learn more science as we go. With the addition of the LTV, we are combining the best of human and robotic exploration. Between the Artemis missions, when our astronauts are not on the moon, NASA can use the LTV's remote operation capabilities to continue exploring. It means also that we'll be able to operate the LTV to meet our crew when they arrive on the surface. That means they'll be ready to go right away to focus on all the exploration that benefits the most from having our astronauts there. And then after the crew leave, the LTV can continue remote operations for additional exploration, prospecting, science, similar to robotic explorers that we have on Mars right now. This can help us identify priorities for our next crewed missions. With NASA's Artemis campaign, we are building up the capabilities needed to establish a longer-term exploration and presence of the moon. And the LTV is one of those capabilities that will enable us to conduct more science as we explore. As we will learn to live farther away from home for longer periods of time than ever before, we will build the first long-term presence on the moon and inspire a whole new generation of scientists, engineers, astronauts, artists, and everything else. Mars remains a horizon goal, and what we learn here on the moon, both with our operations and how to interpret the science, that will help us when we're ready to take that next giant leap to Mars. Now, I like to imagine the views and the vistas that the LTV will enable us to see from the surface of the moon. This truly is an exciting next step in exploration. The LTV is truly an exploration vehicle. Where it will go, there are no roads. Its mobility will fundamentally change our view of the moon. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. And now we'll go to Laura Kearney.
Thank you, Victoria. So really excited to be here today. As was mentioned, our NASA team has been working really hard to get to this point. Started a couple of years back. It took us a little while to really understand the requirements for this vehicle and what it meant to ask a vehicle to operate on the moon in the lunar South Pole region, full-time, 24/7, 365 for up to 10 years. So we wanted to make sure we were really getting the requirements set right when we put this request for proposal out. We also wanted to make sure we truly understood our acquisition strategy. As was mentioned, we want to make sure we are pushing the commercial industry forward and making sure we are establishing a robust lunar economy on the moon. So it took us a little while to make sure we understood what that requirement set was. Once we got the RFP out, our procurement team really kicked in, and they have worked really hard for the last year maintaining the schedule so that we could be here where we are today. So I am really excited to have the three gentlemen sitting here to my left. We've been waiting to this point where we can start engaging them as a program going forward. So a little bit about the EVA and Human Surface Mobility Program. We are charged with delivering and integrating the EVA spacesuits that will be used to walk on the lunar surface, the LTV that we are here to award today, and the pressurized rover. Together, these three elements will provide the first surface elements for the astronauts in the early Artemis missions. So we have a responsibility not only to deliver these elements on cost and on schedule, but to make sure they are integrated well and meeting all of the objectives of the Artemis enterprise as well as of our science community. So again, we're very excited now that we have these companies and these teams on board, we can better understand what their designs are and how they integrate into the infrastructure that we are charged to support for the Artemis enterprise. A bit about the structure of the contract. It is what we call a service contract. So we have asked these companies not only to design, develop, and deliver a lunar terrain vehicle, but to also get that vehicle to the moon. So as part of their proposals, they propose not only the design of the LTV, but also how they launch it and how they will land it on the lunar surface. Each of their contracts will include that full scope, but they are not actually authorized to do the work until we have put a task order in place. And so by doing this, we will have competitive task orders throughout the life of the contract that ensures we maintain robust competition, we continue to get innovation, and we get the best value for the government and long-term commercial economy. So how we do that at the beginning is we have what we call a feasibility phase. It's a task order that each of these companies will get. It's about 12 months, in duration, and leads up to the preliminary design review. And so during that time, our NASA teams will be working with them to understand what their designs look like, iterating with them on where we can make improvements, and understanding how they incorporate into our overall lunar architecture. Once we get past that point, we will have a follow-on subsequent competitive request for proposal go out. Well, they will then compete for what we call a demonstration task order. That demonstration allows them to finish the development, get the LTV to the moon, and demonstrate it on the surface prior to the arrival of the Artemis 5 crew. We anticipate only being able to award that demonstration task order to one of these companies. Once that demonstration is complete, we'll then move on to what we call service task orders, and that will be an annual cadence where we will work with our Artemis enterprise customers as well as our science customers, and on an annual basis, we will award a service contract for them to provide both crewed and uncrewed services throughout the remaining life of the contract. So again, we are really, really excited. Our congratulations to the 3 companies from our team. We are looking forward to jumping in with you guys and certainly making LTV a big success.
Thank you, Laura. We will now hear remarks from each of the selected companies in alphabetical order, starting with Steve Altemus of Intuitive Machines. Steve?
Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited to be here and receive this award on behalf of our Moon Racer team, which is the reusable, let me write this down here. It's the reusable autonomous crewed exploration rover team. Our team is made up of AVL, Boeing, Michelin, Northrop Grumman, with Intuitive Machines as a prime. So we're very excited. I remember about a month ago, I was in this room in a press conference celebrating a successful soft landing on the moon. And this next step, this LTV award, is just an exciting next step to put the most critical piece, or the first critical piece of infrastructure on the surface. We're going to need this world-class team to do that because, as you saw in the video, the environment on the moon is harsh. You know, we have 500-degree temperature swings. The South Pole region is rocky and craggy and shadowed. It's going to stress our suspension, our drivetrain, our power systems, and our autonomous driving algorithms and software. And we're going to need this globally integrated team to pull that off, to allow this rover to live for 10 years and provide the service that NASA is asking for. I think what's really important also is to applaud NASA for this non-traditional, forward-thinking procurement. It really is exciting that not only are we going to support the Artemis campaign with crewed missions and uncrewed missions, but also it's commercially available for us as a commercial business to sell capacity on that rover and do that for international partners and for other commercial companies and space agencies around the world. So this is another first, this LTV contract in a burgeoning cislunar economy. And I'm really happy to represent our Moon Racer team and to be here, and appreciate NASA's award. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Next up is Justin Cyrus with Lunar Outpost.
Hi, my name's Justin Cyrus, and I'm the CEO and founder at Lunar Outpost. For those of you who don't know who we are, Lunar Outpost is the leading mobility provider in the world. We have 4 rovers that are headed to the lunar surface. First one this year, later as a part of the IM-2 mission. Shortly after, we'll be a part of the IM-3 mission going to Reiner Gamma, and a commercial mission to follow, and an international collaboration from there as part of the Australian Space Agency's Trailblazer program. So I'm honored to be here representing our company, but also our amazing team. So our team consists of Lockheed Martin, General Motors, MDA Space, and Goodyear, who are all providing critical components of this overall contract. Now, our team combines proven human and robotic heritage, which is extraordinarily difficult to come by, and we're very fortunate to have as a part of our group. And what we're doing is taking not only this space heritage, but we're taking cutting-edge technology and automotive industry strengths to provide a true off-road vehicle capable of allowing us to live and work on the surface of the moon. With a strong focus on commercialization and enabling the new cislunar economy, our team is well positioned to help NASA take the next leap. As a part of the Artemis campaign, our LTV design emphasizes astronaut safety, alongside groundbreaking new capabilities that enable new mission profiles, including notably enhanced science mission returns, alongside building and maintaining infrastructure on the surface of the moon. I am truly humbled to be here on stage at Johnson Space Center, where as a kid, I grew up right down the street, watching the people of this center and watching the people of NASA continue to constantly push boundaries and explore new horizons. And that spirit of constantly pushing, improving, and exploring is what's led me to be here on this stage today. So first of all, thank you for that inspiration, and I really hope I am able to be a part of this program and inspire the next generation. Now, I do also want to thank NASA and Johnson Space Center for letting us have the opportunity to get humanity back to the moon and on to Mars, hopefully this time to stay. And I will do my best, and our team will do our best to make the most of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. We'll now hear from Jarrett Matthews of Venturi Astrolab. Jarrett?
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. Astrolab is on a mission to move humanity forward by building and operating a fleet of multi-purpose planetary rovers for transporting crew, supporting science and exploration, and robotic cargo logistics on the moon and eventually Mars. First, I would like to express my deep gratitude to NASA for giving us this opportunity to work alongside you on the LTVS project, and to the Astrolab team for working so hard for years on the LTV design and for putting together such a strong proposal. The Astrolab team is comprised of many incredible individuals with decades of experience in human spaceflight, mobility, and planetary robotics, and I'm so proud of them today. I would also like to thank our LTVS team members, Axiom Space and Odyssey Space Research, who are bringing to the team their deep experience in crew interfaces, crew training, flight software, simulation, safety and mission assurance, and mission operations. And finally, our strategic partners at Venturi, who are bringing their cutting-edge advancements in electric mobility, energy storage, and lunar tire design. Astrolab has been working for over 4 years on our commercial platform called the Flexible Logistics and Exploration Rover, or FLEX. FLEX is designed to operate on the moon for years and is purpose-built to help establish a permanent human presence on the moon and to serve as a catalyst for the lunar economy. The first commercial version of FLEX is scheduled to land on the moon in late 2026 with up to 1.5 tons of commercial cargo. The mission will allow us to validate our strong commercial model prior to sending the FLEX LTV for NASA's Artemis campaign. Everything NASA has ever accomplished has been because they can assemble great teams, and that's exactly what we've done at Astrolab. So on behalf of everyone involved with our team, we are honored, humbled, and so very much looking forward to working with NASA to deliver the most capable and versatile rover the world has ever seen. Thank you.
All right, and thank you to all of our briefers for those initial remarks. We'll now move on to the question and answer portion of today's news briefing. For all media, both here in the room and on our phone bridge, please remember to state your name, affiliation, and to whom you'd like to direct your question to. And with that, and for those who are in the room, just raise your hand. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started.
Hi, Eric Berger with Ars Technica. Thanks for doing this. Question for Laura. You talked about a 12-month feasibility phase, and then there's going to be a competitive RFP. I just want to understand how you're going to maintain competition, but also it sounds like there's just going to be one team building one rover LTV that actually gets to the moon for this program. And so at what point do you cut from 3 to 1, and how long does that last? It seems like it's going to be a fairly brief competition in that sense.
The current plan, again, a lot of it is based on available budget. And so right now the intent is to just run this feasibility phase through the 12 months, as I mentioned, and at that point, one demonstration. But that said, this contract mechanism is extraordinarily flexible. We can bring task orders onto this mechanism at any time. So depending if another use comes in, we can certainly turn on another task order for another development or service effort. We also have an on-ramp clause that allows other companies to come onto this contract in the future should they have capability. So really it is a matter of objectives, requirements. If we have customers that come with additional funding, we have a contract mechanism that will allow companies to continue to compete for future demonstrations and service periods.
Okay, thank you for that question. And just as a reminder, for those on our phone bridge, please press 1 to enter into our queue. And if you found that your question has already been answered, please press *2 to withdraw it at any time. And with that, we'll take another question here in the room.
Oh, thank you. Mark Carreau with Aviation Week and Space Technology. I have a kind of a few technical questions. And I don't know whether you've specified this yet, but if you could explain how these guys are supposed to be powered, what their range could be, and then maybe you could just describe the kind of environment at the lunar South Pole that these will be experiencing in terms of thermal and maybe radiation and other major factors. Thank you.
And perhaps I could start with high-level requirements, and then you gentlemen certainly can jump in. We tried very hard in this requirement set to not be too dictative. We wanted to give just high-level functional requirements, but with an understanding of what the environment is. One of the big challenges at the lunar South Pole is power, given that we are in shadow quite often. So the NASA team had done a lot of analysis to try to understand how we would navigate to an area where we could get to areas where the sun can get to the rover, and we can at least have some kind of power that way. We had derived a certain number of hours, a minimum number of hours that we put on this contract, but we did not limit and we did not define how these systems had to be powered. So they were able to provide innovative solutions and certainly able to provide what I would call excess capacity. If they could, for instance, meet 150 hours and it allows us to stay in darkness longer, that just provides more operational flexibility for us. So that is absolutely one of the driving requirements. As far as thermal, it was mentioned we can swing hundreds of degrees one way or another once, beyond being in the sun to being in the shaded area. Radiation is a big one, to be able to keep electronics alive in that environment. We have asked the companies to meet a 10-year operating life. We did not define how they needed to do that. I use polar examples just to prove a point. They could, for instance, come in and say, I'm going to deliver one rover, it's going to last 10 years, or I'm going to deliver 10 rovers that only last 1 year. And that way they have the trade space to say, maybe I can fly COTS electronics, but I'm going to have to replace them once a year. Or I have to be extraordinarily robust because I'm going to last 10 years. Those are bounding cases. None of them proposed either of those. But we wanted to be able to give them, again, these high-level requirements, and then they could innovate on how they wanted to solve those problems.
I'm happy to hop in. So our company and our team more broadly has some pretty cool technology around this. It's a big part of what we're actually figuring out over the course of our first 4 rover missions to the lunar surface, basically how to squeeze every last watt of power out of these battery systems and conserve that energy for as long as we can. So on our first rover mission, we're just lasting the lunar day, which is a much easier challenge to solve than what we're doing here as a part of LTVS. Second rover mission, all right, now you can start looking at potentially lasting a couple lunar nights. By the time you get to the third and fourth rover missions, then we're looking at operating months at a time, all the way up to years at a time, depending on how those technologies are tested. Another member of our team that we're extraordinarily excited to have is GM. So that's something that they are providing as a part of this overall LTVS program, is their new battery technology that comes with much higher energy density that can survive the extremes of the lunar surface. Of course, with a little bit of modification, but it's truly amazing energy storage technology that we're very proud to be bringing into the Artemis program. So our team over at GM will be providing our battery technology, and then Lockheed Martin and Lunar Outpost will basically be figuring out how to make the most of that technology moving forward, so we can not only survive the lunar night, but truly operate for many years at a time during the lunar day and lunar night.
All right, thank you. Before we go to our phone bridge, we'll take one more question here in the room.
Hi, Beverly Casillas for Space Scout. And I guess this one's also for Laura. What kinds of knowledge and resources is NASA sharing with these providers to kind of help accelerate the development of their concepts? We've seen, like with XEVAs, NASA provided things like the XEMU data, as well as resources like the Argo system to help with testing in the gravity environments. Could you provide any information about what kind of resources EHP is providing? Thank you.
Yes, we are using a very similar model to what we had on, we call it XEVAS. It's the EVA acquisition. We've had a lunar LTV team working within our engineering directorate here at Johnson Space Center for quite some time, building prototypes, understanding requirements, trying to get an idea of what these systems might look like. And we make all of that data available to these companies in a technical library for them to use and learn from and leverage from. So all that data is available. As we execute this contract, we will have a NASA, what we call Insight team, which will work side by side with these companies, again, providing lessons learned and information back and forth. And then also similar to our EVA contract, we will utilize what we call government task agreements. And so as part of their proposals, they actually provided, we gave them information on what kinds of assets, whether it be a testing facility, materials, certain knowledge that we have here at the Johnson Space Center, and actually all centers across the agency. We made that available to them so that they could then propose back to us where they would like to use those capabilities as part of their overall proposal. So certainly Johnson Space Center here has a lot of facility capability, zero gravity or lunar gravity offloading systems that we anticipate them to use. We have some virtual simulation capabilities we anticipate them to use. And then of course, this is where we will be bringing the spacesuits in and integrating the human element along with our crews and our engineering test subjects. And so all that capability is being made available to them as they go through the development process.
Yeah, I'd answer that too. For Intuitive Machines in our team, we've made extensive use of the GTA process that NASA offered across multiple centers, and whether that's Ames Research Center for autonomous driving, path planning, they have some great algorithms that do that, and whether it's Goddard Space Flight Center for communications, or whether it's Johnson Space Center for the Argos gravity offload system. So there's quite a bit of capability in the agency which we plan to leverage. That was part of our proposal and priced accordingly. So this is really going to be a government and private sector partnership that builds this LTV and delivers it to the surface.
We've actually been testing our lunar tire prototype here at Johnson Space Center for the last year, as well as at NASA Glenn through the NASA Announcement of Collaborative Opportunity program. So separate from LTV, but that technology is going to be applied to LTV.
All right, thank you. And just as a reminder, if you are online on our phone bridge, please press *1 to enter into the queue to ask your question. And with that, we will go to Jeff Faust with Space News.
Good afternoon. A couple of quick questions for Laura Carney. What is the dollar value of these initial task orders the three companies are getting? And then also, how many proposals did NASA receive for the solicitation? Thanks.
I think I am probably going to have to pass on both of those since we are technically still in a blackout period with these companies. So once that blackout period is over and source selection statements are released, I think that some of that information at least will be available to you.
All right, thank you, Laura. We'll take another question on our phone bridge. Kenneth Chang with the New York Times.
Hi, thank you. So the question is, how much time will there be for other customers to use the LTV, and how does the coordination go between NASA and the commercial customer if NASA needs the rover at a certain place for the next Artemis mission?
So we thought about that a lot, actually, in how we developed this RFP. We had to really strategize on different models for how we might establish those agreements. We understand, at least, we believe, in the early phase, NASA is going to have to be somewhat of an anchor tenant. And then we hope that over the 10-year operating life of this vehicle, we can start bringing in more and more and more commercial requests as the market evolves. So as I mentioned, we will have these 1-year service periods. And we started a model where the first service periods tend to be more NASA requirement driven. So NASA, either through our science requirements or our exploration requirements, will carry about 75% of the burden or so, freeing up about 25% of the capacity for other commercial uses. We have other mechanisms on the contract where, as we go over time and NASA perhaps becomes less and less of a user, we can open up more and more of that capacity for the commercial space. We also put processes on the contract where we have science and utilization teams that come in and they help us understand what their objectives are. We have joint agreements with the companies where we can get together and say, over the course of this next year, these are what our objectives are. This is the mission that we want to meet. And NASA ultimately, even though this is a commercial service, especially when it comes to crewed missions and crew safety is paramount, NASA still has mission authority and risk acceptance over how this vehicle is operated on the lunar surface. So we have set up, through the contract structure, a lot of that I would call governance and authority infrastructure to make sure that we are collaborating with the vendor both on mission objectives and on crew safety and vehicle reliability.
And if I may, we're really excited about NASA's services approach. That allows companies like ours and like the others on stage here today to start bringing more people into the cislunar economy. Something that not widely talked about. We're not a public company, so we don't have to disclose this, but we're actually a majority commercial revenue company. As a space company that's called Lunar Outpost, right? That doesn't exist 10 years ago. That doesn't exist 15 years ago. But through these new opportunities that NASA is providing to companies like ours, we are able to bring in those non-traditional space customers, international space agencies that are part of the Artemis Accords, and also a new block of new space companies that are helping drive value in the ecosystem. So it's been really exciting. 2 out of our first 4 missions are actually fully commercial, where one is NASA and then the 4th one is an international space agency. So we're really looking forward to trying to scale that as part of the LTVS program, and we're very excited about the opportunity to bring some more people into the overall ecosystem.
All right, thank you, Justin. We'll now take another question on our phone bridge. Bill Harwood with CBS News.
Yes, thank you very much. I just wanted to follow up on Mark Carreau's question earlier, trying to get a general sense of some of the at least aspirational goals each company has. For example, I mean, what kind of ranges are we talking about? I realize you don't have a solid answer to that yet, but maybe can you bound it for us at least? I assume all three are solar powered. Are you envisioning solar panels on the vehicle for recharging or some kind of charging station? And maybe anything you can tell us about tire technology. We're all familiar with Apollo 17 and the kind of wheels they had back then, but what are we looking at now? And I realize you don't have specifics perhaps for us, but just give us some general ideas of what you're looking at. Thanks.
Well, let me interject here, Bill. A lot of this is competitive, right? So what we did was we crafted feasible existence proof of a design to meet the RFP requirements. We are going to go through a year-long process now to get to what Laura said was essentially a PDR design for the delivery to the South Pole and also for the demonstration mission for that LTV. There's a number of the subsystems that we've put in as the initial design that will be traded over that 12-month period that will give us a better understanding of things like survive the night, operate during the night, how effective solar arrays are versus fuel cells, what the drivetrain needs to look like, what the battery life extensions are, what the suspension needs to be, and tires in particular. We've brought Michelin on board, who's done extensive work on lunar tires with the Glenn Research Center, and so that research has been going on for years. And so a lot of this work we have answers to, even our sparing strategy.
I've now got to interrupt this broadcast. I've just remembered we have Levi earnings this evening, and of course I'm covering it. So we now have to end this broadcast very, very quickly, and we are scheduled to start the Levi earnings right this second. So thank you very much for joining me. I'm going to end the broadcast right now. Send everybody very, very quickly I cannot believe I forgot this. Send everybody now to the live show, the 12-hour stream. End this show. I'll be right back with Levi earnings. I cannot believe I forgot, so I apologize for that. Let me send you now to the extra channel. Here we go. Okay, it'll take you there directly, and I will see you back in just a couple of minutes' time with the Levi earnings. Whew, I'm glad somebody mentioned that in the chat. All right, I'll see you back in just a couple of minutes. Don't go away. 12-hour stream and then right back for Levi. I apologize. I'm glad someone mentioned it. Bye-bye for now.